The three main types of plate movement are divergent, convergent, and transform boundaries. Hotspots, although not in this picture, are still useful to know. The process of divergent boundaries between continental plates has a couple of steps. First, as the land starts to diverge, it is stretched and warped. Plumes of hot rock rise from the earth, bending the crust and fracturing it. This allows magma to reach the surface to create a rift valley. Over time, the rift valley grows and expands. Eventually, an ocean is created, and a mid-ocean ridge may start to develop. The Great Rift Valley in East Africa is an example of this process. The red lines represent land that is diverging. Notice that some rift valleys are in their developing stages. Now on to divergent boundaries between oceanic plates. These are considered spreading centers because new oceanic lithosphere is produced here. This is when two oceanic lithospheres move apart to create a mid-ocean ridge, causing seafloor spreading. An example of this process is the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. When an oceanic plate and a continental plate converge, the continental lithosphere stays on top due to its smaller density. While the oceanic lithosphere is being subducted, part of the continental lithosphere melts. The magma, which is less dense than the mantle, rises to the surface. Continental volcanic arcs are formed. These are volcanoes that form as a result of this particular process. The Andes Mountains in South America contain continental volcanic arcs. This is a result of the convergence between South America and the Pacific Ocean. Moving on to convergent boundaries between two continental plates. This process involves two continental plates that once had water separating them, but are now one piece of land. The continental lithospheres converge and eventually collide to form a mountain range. For example, the Himalayas formed as a result of the collision of India and Asia. Transform boundaries are any two pieces of lithosphere, oceanic or continental, grinding past each other without any damage done. This process most commonly occurs between oceanic and continental lithospheres or oceanic and oceanic lithospheres. In the case of oceanic and oceanic lithospheres particularly, two segments of a mid-ocean ridge conjoin. The San Andreas Fault in California consists of a transform boundary between the Pacific Plate and the North American Plate grinding past each other. Hotspots are small volcanic regions a few hundred kilometers across. They are also called intraplate volcanism, volcanic activity that occurs within a plate. Very hot mantle plume rises to the surface as magma forms. This results in volcanoes or eventually a hotspot. The most well-known example for hotspots is Hawaii, of course. The markings represent Hawaii's principal volcanoes.